Welcome to Cartoon Rewind. Today we will be diving into 15 cartoon age secrets you were never told. Make sure you stay to the end because we explain just how extreme these ages get. Number 1. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob's cheerful laugh and whimsical setting in Bikini Bottom make it easy to forget how odd his world truly is. For starters, there's the question of SpongeBob's age. Canonically, he has a driver's license that, in certain episodes, places him in his mid-20s. Yet he still goes to boating school as though he's a perpetually failing teenager. Fans point to these contradictions as proof SpongeBob is stuck in a comedic time loop, forever youthful but also bizarrely adult. His best friend, Patrick Star, is equally puzzling. He exhibits a childlike innocence yet has moments of surprising wisdom. One theory claims this might hint Patrick has cyclical intelligence, effectively resetting in each new storyline. And then there's Squidward, whose cynicism suggests he's older and possibly yearning for retirement. With these clashing personalities, SpongeBob's universe somehow stays afloat, defying the laws of age and continuity for nearly 2 decades. It's a testament to how the show's creators keep the series fresh, even if it means characters never truly evolve or grow older. Get number 2, The Simpsons. If SpongeBob's aging is a little weird, The Simpsons take that concept to a whole new dimension. Bart Simpson has been in 4th grade for over 3 decades. Lisa has lived perpetually at 8 years old, and Maggie remains an eternal toddler. Despite that stasis, the show's episodes frequently jump into the future, revealing adult versions of these characters. How can they both stay forever young, yet also appear as grown-ups in flash-forward episodes? This wild contradiction has sparked countless fan theories. Some say The Simpsons exist in a floating timeline that updates each season, explaining references to newer tech and current events without truly allowing the family to age. Others insist the entire show is a surreal commentary on modern life. Aging simply doesn't matter. Homer, for instance, was once depicted as a college student in the 70s, but more recently had a teenage flashback set in the early 2000s. If none of it really fits together, maybe that's exactly the point. Number 3, Family Guy. While The Simpsons keep their timelines somewhat consistent in spirit, Family Guy delights in shattering continuity. Peter Griffin can be a clueless father of 3 in one episode, and then cameo in a completely nonsensical cutaway the next. But the real enigma might be Stewie, the family's baby genius. He's verbally coherent, capable of building time machines, and even forging friendships with celebrities. Yet, to everyone but Brian, and occasionally Chris or Meg, his speech is just babbling. Why hasn't this super intelligent baby advanced an inch in age? In numerous episodes, Stewie references birthday after birthday, yet he remains a diaper-wearing toddler. Some fans propose that each season resets the entire story, with Stewie never growing older because his character's comedic potential hinges on his baby status. It's an ongoing cycle of potential growth squashed by the comedic necessity of an evil baby. No matter how many wild adventures he has, we return the next week to find everything undone, like some cosmic comedic loop. Number 4, The Flintstones. Finally, let's travel back in time, literally. The Flintstones is set in the modern Stone Age, with Fred and Barney leading prehistoric lives peppered with 1960s technology, only made of rocks and dinosaurs. That contradiction alone is odd. Even more baffling is how the Flintstones rarely addresses the characters' actual ages. In one moment, Fred is proudly working at the quarry like a middle-aged family man. In another, entire stories revolve around him acting like a brash young adult. The show's production history adds even more confusion. Early episodes used real cigarette brand sponsorships, as if the Stone Age had a direct line to mid-century consumer culture. Moreover, the spin-off shows, like The Pebbles and Bam Bam Show, jump ahead to feature teenage children, only for certain later specials to revert them back to toddlers. This rubber band timeline has turned the Flintstones into a Stone Age puzzle for fans who try to piece together a coherent chronology. Maybe the real magic is that we're not meant to find clarity, but simply enjoy that stone-wheeled car ride. Number 5. Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes spans so many decades that trying to establish any form of continuity can feel impossible. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and the rest don't age. Instead, they morph with each era. One reason is the varied creative teams over the years. In the classic shorts, Daffy was a zany, unpredictable wild card. In later incarnations, particularly post-1960s, he evolved into a more irritable, jealous foil to Bugs. What about their real ages? Some official merchandise once indicated Bugs had a birth year in the 1940s, but subsequent reboots just treat him as timeless. Fans have jumped on this to create everything from elaborate timelines to comedic war diaries that detail how the characters coexisted. Ultimately, Looney Tunes thrives on the principle that these iconic personalities simply exist in a cartoon dimension unbound by time, making each short an independent piece of comedic chaos. Number 6. Tom and Jerry eternal cat and mouse chases define Tom and Jerry. One might assume Tom, the cat, is a young adult in cat years, while Jerry is an even younger rodent. Yet the show, especially in its theatrical shorts era, never pinned a definite age to either. Instead, it offered comedic conflict that repeated in every scenario. Over time, the rivalry gained new angles. In some episodes, Tom and Jerry share moments of camaraderie, even defending one another against an external threat like a menacing bulldog. Were they meant to age at all? Official statements from animators are contradictory. Some say Tom and Jerry are indefinite archetypes of predator and prey, while others mention that they represent playful siblings forced into a comedic conflict. An even weirder rumor posits that Tom's real name is Jasper and Jerry's is Jinx, though that's typically attributed to their earliest debut. Fans debate if the pair are essentially immortals in a comedic realm, living out a cyclical clash that resets every short. It's a silly concept, but it keeps the show timeless. Number 7. Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Set in the endless summer of suburban Peach Creek, Ed, Edd, and Eddy features a trio of neighborhood kids seemingly trapped between school years. They never mention advancing a grade, and the entire premise revolves around them scamming the other neighborhood kids for jawbreakers and quarters. Some fans took this perpetual lost summer to dark places, proposing a grim fan theory. The cul-de-sac kids actually dwell in a kind of afterlife, which explains why they never age and rarely leave the block. The show's creator denied these theories, saying it's just a cartoon, but the speculation persists. Contradictory cameo appearances and specials add fuel to the fire, like holiday episodes that place them in winter. But the next storyline jumps right back to that sunny, indefinite summer. The real answer might be simpler. Ed, and Eddy works best with them as those same lovable, slightly clueless kids. Permanently stuck, perhaps, but we wouldn't have it any other way. Number 8. Teen Titans. In DC Comics canon, the Teen Titans are supposed to be a younger, raw version of adult heroes. Robin, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy are typically in their mid-teen years. Yet, the popular 2003 Teen Titans animated series mixed comedic hijinks with serious threats. Are they actual teens or borderline adults with big responsibilities? The show never clarifies it beyond the name, leaving fans to guess. The continuity issues grow when we see crossovers with other DC properties. One storyline might treat Robin like Batman's fresh-faced protege, while in Teen Titans Go, he's comedic, over the top, and drawn in a minimalist style, still called a teen, but acting younger and more immature than any conventional teenager. Starfire, an alien princess, might be older if we consider her planet's time measurement, while Raven's half-demon background suggests an entirely different concept of age. In short, each version of the Titans picks and chooses what to confirm, letting them remain in that ambiguous teenage realm forever. Number 9. Adventure Time. Finn the human and Jake the dog inhabit the post-apocalyptic land of Ooo, where weirdness is the status quo. Finn begins the series around 12 years old, gradually aging in real time as episodes progress. Unlike most cartoons, Adventure Time does let him grow older, reaching his mid-teens by the show's finale. Still, the timeline can be disorienting. The Great Mushroom War that birthed this world happened centuries ago, so Jake's actual age is tough to pin down. He's a shape-shifting magical dog who might be far older than we realize. These oddities become even more pronounced in spin-offs, short specials, and cameo episodes in other Cartoon Network productions. Sometimes Finn appears younger, sometimes older, and fans eagerly track the changes in his arm, his clothing style, and his relationships to place the episodes in chronological order. If there's any cartoon that tries to handle growth more directly, it's Adventure Time, but the show's whimsical nature means we still see anomalies. For instance, we know Princess Bubblegum is centuries old, yet physically appears a teenager or young adult depending on the episode. Reality in Ooo is flexible, and that's part of why fans love it. Number 10. Rick and Morty. When it comes to ignoring continuity or warping it to comedic ends, Rick and Morty might be the reigning champion. Morty is about 14, a nervous middle schooler who gets dragged on terrifying adventures by his grandfather Rick, an alcoholic genius with no respect for normal cosmic rules. How old is Rick? He's referred to as an older man, possibly in his 60s, but the series frequently jumps across timelines, universes, and entire galaxies. Multiple Ricks exist across infinite realities, meaning whichever Rick we're focusing on could have a slightly different backstory. Morty sometimes meets alternate versions of himself who are older, younger, or drastically changed. The show almost mocks the concept of a consistent timeline, turning it into a joke whenever fans try to track it. You'll see references to Morty being mentally scarred from previous escapades, yet he's fresh and naive in the very next storyline. The only continuity is that there is no continuity, a meta-commentary on how cartoons often break their own rules to maintain comedic effect. Number 11. Gravity Falls Twins. Dipper and Mabel Pines are 12 going on 13 when they spend a summer with their great Uncle Stan in the mysterious town of Gravity Falls, Oregon. The series heavily emphasizes cryptic clues, hidden codes, and multi-dimensional secrets. While the timeline is fairly contained, it all takes place over a single summer. The show sneaks in references to possible time travel, parallel universes, and characters who might be older or younger than they appear. One of the biggest mysteries was the identity of the author of the journals. When that plot resolved, it opened the door to an entire dimension-hopping storyline. So are Dipper and Mabel truly 12? Or have they effectively experienced multiple lifetimes worth of knowledge in those few months? The question remains partially unanswered, but the show's conclusion suggests they go back to a normal school year after an extraordinary summer. Fans, however, still dissect every coded message and cameo, convinced that Gravity Falls might have left a backdoor to another reality hidden somewhere within the final frames. Number 13. Pokémon. Ash Ketchum's journey to become a Pokémon master might be the poster child for cartoon time distortion. Since Pokémon premiered, Ash has been portrayed as a 10-year-old who wanders the regions with Pikachu and a rotating cast of travel companions. Yet each new season introduces brand new leagues, dozens, if not hundreds of fresh Pokémon. and references to advanced technology that didn't exist a few years ago. How can he still be 10? One of the wackier fan theories suggests Ash fell into a coma in the first episodes, and everything since is a delusion, hence no aging. Others argue it's a child-friendly show that simply resets the clock each time he enters a new region. Canonically, the creators have avoided giving a firm timeline, likely to keep the property kid-oriented. Pikachu, similarly, never evolves despite repeated opportunities, symbolizing the show's refusal to move forward in a conventional sense. Whether you love it or not, Pokémon might always depict Ash as the eternally hopeful 10-year-old chasing the next badge. Number 14, Dragon Ball Z. In stark contrast, Dragon Ball Z actively shows characters aging and changing, but not without a hefty dose of contradictions. Goku starts as a young boy in the original Dragon Ball, grows into adulthood, has children, and even grandchildren by the time of Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Super. Yet the math doesn't always add up. Goku spends years in the hyperbolic time chamber, which passes differently than real time. He also perishes and trains in the afterlife, returning to the mortal plane with minimal or no aging. Vegeta, similarly, references Saiyans as naturally aging slower once they reach physical prime, explaining why he and Goku remain in peak condition for decades. Then there's Gohan, Goku's eldest son, who starts DBZ'd as a toddler, but rapidly becomes a teen warrior, only to vanish from the spotlight in later arcs. Fans have built entire timelines to keep track of age 736, age 774, etc., from official materials. Still, confusion persists because each new series or special might shift details to fit the new story. If you're looking for a straightforward timeline, Dragon Ball is a famously tangled web. Number 15, Avatar, The Last Airbender. Aang might be the ultimate example of a child with an adult burden. He's biologically 12, yet he was trapped in an iceberg for 100 years, making him technically over a century old. The show addresses this paradox. Aang awakens to find the world changed by war, and he's forced to master the remaining elements at lightning speed. His friends, Katara and Sokka, are teens who watch Aang struggle with the weight of being the Avatar. This unique approach doesn't shy away from letting the characters mature emotionally. You see Aang's growth from a carefree kid to a more meditative, responsible Avatar. Katara evolves from an inexperienced waterbender to a master teacher, and Sokka transitions from comedic relief to a strategic leader. Time passes in a mostly linear way, but you still have that century gap for Aang. Some fans question the logic of him staying physically 12 after 100 years in suspended animation, yet the show integrates it as part of the mystical backdrop. By the sequel series, The Legend of Korra, we see a new generation in their teens and 20s, acknowledging real progression. This willingness to move forward is what sets Avatar apart from many cartoons. Well, that's all for today, folks. We've just peeled back the curtain on 15 animated worlds, each harboring its own set of contradictions, mysteries, and controversies. From SpongeBob's ambiguous adulthood to Ash Ketchum's endless childhood. If any of these ages surprised you, let's talk about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, there is plenty more where that came from. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Cartoon Rewind.